Hey folks, this is David S. This is session 4 of Hearts of Wulin, Odyssey of Jade and Stars. This is a quarterly run that is happening on the Gauntlet Gaming community. The last video I put up got 3 whole views. So if you are watching this video, gauntlet-rpg.com is the place to be, folks. Let's go ahead and get a quick round of character introductions, and I'll just do that in character keeper order, beginning with Steven.
Yeah, hey there. I am Steven, he, him, and I am playing Nameless Blade, she, her, doomed swordswoman, in love with Cloud Crow. That it's complicated, and yeah. I also ran into Jiang's love interest last time. And yeah.
All right. Greg, how about you?
Hi, I'm Greg, pronouns he, him, and I'm playing Dongshan, also he, him, who is the right lieutenant, so almost the second in command of the Blackwood Palace sect, a powerful sorcerer who uses plant-themed magic and is good with healing poisons and casting magical traps, and likes to stick his nose where it doesn't belong. And his master has tasked him with breaking apart Nameless Blade and Cloud Crow, and he's just running into them in a very compromising situation.
Yes, indeed. Jose, how about you?
Hi, everybody. My name's Jose, and my pronouns are he and him, and I'm playing Jiang, who is an outsider, a cursed outsider. He has some kind of curse, which we have not quite figured out the contours of, on his person, that makes all sorts of strange supernatural stuff happen around him that's not always healthy for those who are in his vicinity. He is a member of the Waxing Crescent, an escort service, a bodyguard service. And last time, we saw him throwing a bit of a fit in an inn when he found out that his friend Cloud Crow had attempted to, or threatened anyways, to kill his lover, Song Tian, the fox demon. And that's where we left him at the end of last session, feeling a little bit out of sorts, or a lot.
And finally, we have Max.
My name is Max. I use they, them pronouns, and my character is Cloud Crow, also they, them. And let's see, Cloud Crow is a student at the Heaven and Earth Temple, and Cloud Crow is in the process of kind of rebelling against the temple because his teacher, their teacher, Elder Woodheart, has been instructing Cloud Crow to do things that really go against Cloud Crow's heart and friendships. So Cloud Crow's been instructed to destroy Zhang's family and to kill Zhang's lover. And because Cloud Crow was sort of seeking some kind of redemption, they were trying to go along with the teacher to sort of feel better about themselves or something, to get more clarity. And in the process, they just really messed things up with Zhang. They tried to kill Song Tian, or they threatened to kill Song Tian. And now they basically feel like they've kind of lost everything potentially, and are gaining a sense of their own strength and need to actually fully shift their allegiance away from the temple.
And I see that you, did you bump your water element up to a +2 with your advance?
Yes, that is what I chose since I didn't have time to sift through all the overwhelming move potentials. And I haven't fully used my moves yet. So, I felt like, okay, let me just take that easier route.
Sure. Well, I
And
think that
sorry.
I was just going to say, I think that that fits the character arc that you're going through right now. You're developing awareness and wisdom.
Yes, that seemed right to me. And also, I think I rewrote my entanglement just slightly to better highlight my relationship with Zhang. And that's what I want to focus on today, the entanglement.
For sure. Stephen, which entanglement were you thinking of highlighting?
Oh, I was thinking, let's see here. Maybe going with romance, but rewriting it. That I'm in love with Cloud Crow, but their master Elder Woodheart believes I will only bring them sorrow or something like that.
That works.
Cool.
All right. Well, does anyone have any final points of order before we go ahead and get started with our opening scene?
I rewrote one of my entanglements to my general entanglement, which before was about Dongshan and spying on him. I switched that one over to one about Violet Widow. That I am intrigued by Violet Widow, but she is the deadly adversary of my friend Nameless Blade. I already tried to kill her once. But I'm highlighting the romantic one since that seems to be front and center right now.
Sure. So what I think I might like to do is, I think we promised that we would open with Dongshan this particular session. So Dongshan, is there a scene you would like to call? Or,
Yes.
oh boy, what you thinking?
With Elder Woodheart.
Oh,
Okay, what you thinking?
So on my way to visit Elder Woodheart, I saw the scene with Cloud Crow and Nameless Blade and Song Tian. So I am, but they looked like they were in fine spirits when I left. So I thought I'd just go visit Elder Woodheart and let him know what's going on.
Oh dear. And I think you would find Elder Woodheart actually at the Heaven and Earth Temple.
Right.
Now, Cloud Crow, I kind of want to give you at least some creative authorship here. Do you have an idea as to how the how the Heaven and Earth Temple appears? Is it this brilliant, six-tiered pagoda? Is it a stone temple built into the back of a cliffside? I mean, do you have an idea as to what that temple is set up like?
it is very wide at the base, but it's very, very tall, and it's made of stone and heaven and earth. So it's, really has a wide center of gravity that's just really solid at the bottom, and it goes up very far. And since there's a lot of crow magic happening there, the temple is a great place to practice flying, jumping up, that sort of thing.
So you have kind of the one big foundational layer, very wide, circular, and then you have maybe a spire kind of coming out of the center.
Yes.
Okay.
There's a lot of trees around.
Sure. Okay, perfect. So, Dongshan, how do you introduce yourself to the guards?
Dongshan of Blackwood Palace here to visit Master Woodheart.
I think that your reputation precedes you, and we open with you in Elder Woodheart's chambers, basically. You have
Okay.
these kind of he lives a very I think Spartan sort of lifestyle. There isn't a much in the way of luxurious fabrics and cloths hanging off of everything. It's really almost kind of a cold, cavernous sort of thing. There's a lot of draftiness through it, and you're sure that there's a metaphor there that has to do with heaven and air and that kind of thing. But in any event, he sits in a meditative posture before you. He seems to have been interrupted deep in meditation when you arrived. But he looks up at you after having gazed down into the prayer beads that he holds. Dongshan, it has been some time.
Yes, it has, Master. My master Miao Renqing sends his greetings and a gift as well. And he holds out a small case. These are the antidotes for the dark moon poison that you have come into possession of. It's extremely dangerous. So my master felt it would be a kind gesture to offer these to you. Also, here is the prescription for it.
Your gift is welcome here, Dongshan. It is good to have Blackwood Palace's regards.
And he also asked me to look in on your disciple Cloud Crow, which curiously enough, I saw them on my way here. It was a interesting incident. I don't know if I should describe the particulars.
Well, there are no secrets between me and Cloud Crow.
Well, it was very odd. I was approaching on my way to visit you when off in the distance, I heard Cloud Crow saying some angry words about enforcing justice or some such. And when I turned to seek them out, no sooner had I spotted them than Nameless Blade from Six Branch Mountain appeared. Or Five Drop Mountain, sorry.
Did she?
And she stayed Cloud Crow's attack, and soon they seemed to be in fine spirits, talking and conversing. You know, I thought that the Heaven and Earth Temple was nothing but fierce with their enemies, but really your disciple Cloud Crow is broadened my view.
I see. It is apparent that the tree people at Five Drop Mountain have decided to work their tentacles into the Heaven and Earth Temple's dealings.
It would appear so.
Your reconnaissance is much appreciated, Dongshan. This favor will not be forgotten.
Well, please call on Blackwood Palace if you need any assistance in this matter.
You may expect to hear from us shortly.
My lord.
He bows to you.
Take my leave.
Yes. All right. Jiang, where did we leave you? I remember you were about to go off with Song Tian to... I don't recall exactly where it was. Was it sort of like a hot springs of sort, or where was it? Oh, you were muted.
Yes, but cold though, I imagine it, rather than hot. Are you muted as well, Dongshan?
Oh, I am. Yes.
Okay.
I was asking, wasn't it the cold pool of 10 alders?
Yes, that's the one. That's the one. Yeah.
Sure.
So yeah, because when Jiang woke up after his wild night, he was a little bashful.
Inflamed yang energy.
And he did have some inflamed yang energy. His chi's unstable. And so he was going to try to make a pit stop over at those cold pools to see if he could cool off a little bit. So we left them leaving. They were walking early morning in the leaving the inn and heading up into the mountains towards the cold pools. And there were some strange shadows lurking in the underbrush around them as they were leaving. So we don't know, things that may have been attracted by Zhou Zhang's rage the night before. So I imagine that they make their way to the cold pools and maybe arrive towards dusk. And maybe on the way, or maybe once they enter the pools, maybe they shed some of their clothes and enter the cold pools. And I imagine the pools are like a milky white water with kind of a mist over them and kind of faint blue glow to them. And so they enter the water. You'd think they'd be shocked at the cold, but they're cultivators, so they have their own sources of heat. And I think I have 2 holds left on Song Tian from a study move I did at the very end of the last session. And so I think I want to ask Song Tian a question with one of those holds, which is actually, I want to reveal a detail and then I'll ask the question. The detail that I want to reveal is that the night before, when Jiang and Song Tian are intimate, let's say, or sleeping together, frequently Jiang gets impressions from Song Tian. And normally they're impressions of kind of natural settings where Song Tian has kind of cultivated qi from. But this time they were memories, human memories of a little girl's first love. And from this, Zhou Zhang has ascertained, although Song Tian hasn't said it out loud, that Song Tian has fed on human essence recently, and that's what those memories are from. So that's one thing. And then the second thing is the question. I think Zhou Zhang is going to ask Song Tian, yes, he is a demon after all. So when we do get the bronze vessel, what are we intending to do with it? Using the royal we. And so I think he asked that out loud while they're sitting in the pools together.
Well, he says, and I think that he's sort of like lying back with his arms kind of out like so, and his head is kind of resting back in the water, and he is just sort of like looking up at the sky, and it's this crisp autumn blue, not a cloud to be seen. He says to you, well, I need to know what's in it. Whatever Mo Feng is interested in, well, it must be powerful and dangerous, and I don't trust him to have it. It's really for our own protection as much as our own benefit.
Yeah, I don't know what's in it either.
You never looked.
I don't know what's in it, right? Yes, other people opened it, not me. Yeah, I don't know what's in it either. But Mo Feng didn't strike me as a prudent man.
Do you trust him?
Not at all. He seemed a bit unstable and self-indulgent, shall we say? Why did you want Mo Feng to have it in the first place?
So this is out of character. It
Okay.
was briefly touched upon in the very first session that this was part of a deal that Mo Feng had made with demons.
Okay.
Song Tian was literally just the guy handing it off to you, but he was never told what was in it. He was told expressly not to look into it, and that's how he came into possession of it originally.
Got it.
But at this point, Song Tian doesn't seem to have much interest in respecting the wishes.
Chain of custody.
Yes, of the demons further. He says, I want to be rid of any of Mo Feng's influence, any of Violet Widow's influence, any of Cloud Crow's influence, any of Nameless Blade's influence. I want to get away from all of it. And if we can take back the vessel and maybe even destroy whatever is in it, then all the better. We'll wash our hands of everything, you and me.
I understand. And as they're having this conversation, I think I want to use one of my moves, the shadow boxing move. And what we see is a cutaway to their clothing on the side of the pool. And we see a close-up of the pile of their clothing, and a hand, it looks like a child's hand, drops a piece of paper into the pile of clothing. And when they come back to their clothing, Jiang finds it and he looks around but doesn't see anybody. And he opens the paper, and it's a map of the Heaven and Earth Temple with a secret entrance kind of marked with a red X and a password, a magical sigil that opens, an opening sigil, marked next to it. But I think I have to roll for this, for the shadow boxing. Some secret order has laid this down.
Sure do have to roll. So what do
Okay.
you want to roll with?
Let's see. What would make sense here? I'm gonna roll with wood because there's I think he's feeling very curious at who could have left this. Maybe a little paranoid, but I don't know which element that would be. So I'll go with wood.
Okay, that is going to be a +1.
Okay. Oops. And I need 2 dice. So that's an 8. Which,
Do you want to keep it as is?
let's see what happens if 1 on 8. On 8. So I would need 2 to make it a 10. If I get a 10, what do I get? On a hit, they succeed. No, I'll keep it as an 8, which
All
means
right.
that they do so, that succeeds, but their intervention either brings with it some attention or some reduced effect.
All right. Shall we close the scene off there?
Yes.
Nameless Blade. Is there a scene that you would like to call?
I'm thinking on it. Maybe come back to me. I don't have an immediate thought.
Sure. Cloud Crow. Is there a scene that you would like to call, or would you like me to hard frame something in?
Well, at some point, I would like to do a kind of flashback scene with Zhou Zhang. And I don't know, is now the right time to do that, or should I wait?
I think that's reasonable. What kind of flashback scene were you thinking?
Well, I would like to flash back to how we met in childhood, like, we were young teenagers. And, Cloud Crow was an only child, ostensibly, like left at this temple, as a baby, and kind of grew up without many kids around. And so Cloud Crow, would kind of play and practice their moves, and, just spend a lot of time alone out in the woods. And um, Cloud Crow was out practicing their moves in a tree, and was, like practicing leaping up into the tree, and, the kind of aerial moves of a crow. The crows were there with them, helping to show Cloud Crow how to do the moves. And at some point, Cloud Crow was in a tree, and the crows are making a lot of noise, like something's going on. And at that point, Cloud Crow saw Zhou Zhang, who they had never seen before, not so far away, having a very hard time, and it was hard to tell what was going on. Zhou Zhang, do you want to explain what was happening?
Sure, I can frame it. I think so. Zhozhang is a teenager at this point, and his family are merchants, textile merchants. So I think he was with a caravan of merchants, and they had camped. I think they were trading silks. Yes, let's say, and they had camped in a pine forest. This is the pine forest where Cloud Crow was playing. And I think we see the camera enter like a flap in through a tent and you see Jiang sleeping at first. Maybe his brow is sweaty and his hands are beginning to clutch, and he's kind of whimpering in his sleep a bit. And if you look closely, there's like a black mist coming off his body. And then you cut out to the forest floor, and it's all pine needles, right? And you start seeing movement under the pine needles. And then suddenly this large centipede, a goo insect, comes out. And it's like black and red segment, shiny. And then the camera pulls back, and then you see the whole carpet of needles all beginning to undulate as all the centipedes are coming out. And then we cut back to the tent, and then the screams start. And Zhozhang wakes up, runs out of the tent, and bumps into a porter or one of the servants or someone, who falls to the ground. His eyes are wide open, and his mouth is kind of foaming, and he has this big welt on his arm where he's been stung. And yeah, centipedes are super poisonous. You know that, Dongshan. These are even more because they're goo insects.
They're one of the 5 poisonous animals.
Oh, good. I got a good one. And and then Jiang throws up one of the bolts of silk into the air and unravels it and starts, what do you call, like towel whipping or some of the bugs. But there's too many of them, and they're coming all over the place, and it's chaos in the campsite. And he sees his little cousin, Wei Ling, trapped against a rock with a bunch of centipedes advancing. And that is what Cloud Crow sees.
Wow. Well, Cloud Crow is freaked out, to say the least. It's like, oh my God, what is going on? But the crows just won't stop squawking. And so they, together, Cloud Crow and the crows go over toward the scene. And, Cloud Crow is still very young and new to all these practices, but they have been doing them their whole childhood. They've been working up to learning how to exorcise demons. And learning how to protect people and animals and spirits. And so they fly into gear, and the cloud crow and the crows basically fly over to this scene where there's all these bugs, and the crows start eating the bugs and, and carrying them away, and everything they can, start trying to clear the area, but it's not even enough. The crows just can't do it by themselves. And Cloud Crow actually sits down and pulls out their flute. Cloud Crow knows these are no ordinary centipedes. And so Cloud Crow starts playing the flute and targeting the centipedes, and this melody, it's eerie, this melody that comes out. And as the melody flows through the woods and the leaves, the centipedes start to recede into the earth. They recede, and all of the movement of the leaves stops. And everyone is just stunned. You know, everyone is in a state of trauma and shock. And there's a long silence.
And Zhou grabs his cousin and looks over to where he sees Cloud Crow sitting on the rock with his flute, and just gives him a look of deep gratitude.
Cloud Crow says, "Will you be all right? Do you need anything else?"
Thank you, my friend. You saved us. What may I call you?
I'm Cloud Crow. I live at that temple just up the hill.
And he looks up and he sees the immensity of the heaven and earth temple on the hill. Said, "Well, you are aptly named. You and your friends have saved us today. I don't know where these bugs came from, but without your help, we would have been goners."
May I know your name?
I am Zhou Jiang.
Pleased to meet you, Zhou Jiang. May we meet again as friends.
Yeah, I think we can cut there. Yeah?
Yes, and Cloud Crow and the crows split off back to the trees.
All right, then. Let's go back to Nameless Blade. Have you had a chance to come up with a scene you'd like to call, or would you like me to hard frame something in?
Sure. If you want to hard frame something, I'm lost tonight. Sorry.
That's perfectly fine. After you ended your prior scene with Song Tian and Cloud Crow the last evening, what did you do with the rest of that night?
So basically Zhang sort of took off with Song Tian is what I'm hearing probably happened.
I think Zhang wasn't with you all when the confrontation with Song Tian happened, but Song Tian met up with him in an inn later and told him the story. That's when he threw the fit.
That's what I thought.
So there could have been some like hanging out at the inn time before Zhang showed up.
I mean, well, geez, I feel like man, sorry, I'm a little bit spacing myself tonight.
No,
I think that yeah, I think I probably would have been at the inn at that case for meeting up, but I think that because I didn't have any immediate plans. Like I know that I apparently need a, well, yeah, I guess that's something I need to investigate, because apparently I need like a family member to specifically kill this undying lady, from what I recall now.
Yes, Violet Widow is neither living nor dead. And
Right.
while she can be defeated, she cannot be permanently destroyed unless her only remaining tie to the human realm is destroyed.
Oh, destroyed. I thought we needed to get them to kill her. Okay. Yeah, and did I have any like leads on what that was, or is that just completely?
I think that your lead is, I mean, you can always seek out Violet Widow. Alternatively, you could perhaps consult with an expert if you want a non-violent encounter. But that would be the two kind of options that are coming to mind for me.
Okay. Uh-oh. Because I'm just trying to figure out how I would, it seems like I don't want to just go to her and ask, because I feel like she's not going to particularly
You might engage in a bit of larceny, perhaps a stealth mission to go through her living quarters or something like that might be possible if you were trying not to fight her.
I mean, sure. That sounds like something. I just like, this is why I was asking. I didn't really know where she was, like where she actually like was, like any of that information, other than the fact that like she was with Dongshan's brother-in-law.
Sure. Well, you know, it's a swoosha. We can have people bumping into
Yeah.
each other at any time. It's all good. So I think that what might happen then is you are trying to go about finding her, and it's interesting. You stumble upon what basically boils down to a kind of like a small war camp of sorts. You can see that Mo Feng has pulled together a small band. And when I say small, I mean 50 people. Various imperial troops, we'll say. If not army people who are going out into other territories and invading them, then at least people who are stationed to hold and maintain order in certain parts of the empire. They are almost certainly bribed. You also see a number of various mercenaries, goons, thugs, that kind of thing. And there's about 50 or so of them. Majority of them have horses. They are equipped with armor, swords. Majority have crossbows. And you can see that they have made some kind of small camp in a field on the border of the forest leading toward the Heaven and Earth Temple. You can engage during the evening in broad daylight. You can make your approach however you choose to. I think you'll also see that there is a tent on the kind of exterior of the camp, a particularly lavish one that is almost certainly Violet Widow's.
Oh yeah. I think in that case, it seems like the sort of thing to do here is like I think it's probably coming into the evening. I don't think I'm so much sneaking into the camp as I'm like coming in under like, I mean, in disguise, as it were. I think I have like a wide straw hat over, kind of tucked low over my face. Like I am just pretending to be a traveler along the road. As I come into camp.
As you enter the camp, you'll see that the men seem to be readying themselves. They are saddling their horses, equipping their crossbows with drawstrings, arranging bolts into quivers. And I think a couple of them, upon seeing your approach, will demand that you stop, you present yourself, and state your business. And they will identify themselves as Imperial troops. They're making this look like an operation that's sanctioned, even though you get the sense this is pretty off the books.
Ah, yes. And I think Nameless Blade is throwing her voice down a bit low. I'm just a trader of sorts, of of charms and whatnot, and I like pull out a like I think some really bad looking, like we saw Dongshan doing some actual like mystical calligraphy and whatnot. These are really bad looking approximations, guaranteed to ward off specters and other dangerous creatures.
They sort of squint a little bit at your pastiche renderings of Dongshan's talismans. Well,
Painted by the famed Dongshan himself.
I hope this never makes it back to my ears.
well, if you had come at an earlier time, then there may have been time to engage in some manner of trade, but we're about to ride out, I'm afraid.
Oh, is that the case? Then surely you then surely you would not wish to leave without some of my wares, sir.
Well, I mean, I can take a look at that, and I think that he actually expresses some kind of interest and will stop what he is doing and come over to inspect your stuff. Do you give him the the elevator pitch about what you have?
Yes. I give him the elevator pitch, and then I like cough again. Oh, but excuse me, sir. I am quite old, and I do need. There's a fire there, yes? If I might sit down beside it for a moment while you peruse my goods.
I think they have a couple of fires, kind of big bonfires, war fires, the sort of thing you might use to cook meats before you go off and go to war, that sort of thing. They'll invite you back to one of the fires and announce your presence, and it's not going to be long before Mo Feng and perhaps even Violet Widow emerge from their respective tents to come see who the hell is showing up at the most inconvenient time. Violet Widow looks no different than you've seen her before. Mo Feng, by way of comparison, is dressed in full war garb. The ornamental armor that probably better fits an officer than a businessman like himself.
Okay, they're coming straight out.
I think so. I mean, there's only about 50 or so men there, so it's very difficult for one person to show up out of nowhere and word not to spread.
Cool. Yeah, I think in so sorry, I'm just trying to work out what my actual course of action here is.
Yep. And if needed, we can always kind of cut away for a moment.
I think if it's okay, like if we like cut, and this is maybe something that will require like a roll to see how it works out, like that like there's like to where, because we've established there are fireworks at this festival, if like there are fireworks that I have like left in the woods near the camp, just as that we see are on a fuse to set to go off or something, because my goal here was to get in and then like check in on this tent.
That sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
Well, what we might do is we might take our first break here.
Sure.
This might be the long one. We'll take 10. And we'll circle back maybe at 5 past the top of the hour. And
Sure.
if you'd like Nameless Blade, we can pick up there with you, or we can smash cut over to someone else.
Okay.
All right. I will see everybody in 10. Okay, folks, so we are back from the break, and I want to kind of slam cut over to Cloud Crow. I think that during the break we were, excuse me, having a discussion, and you mentioned that you were kind of on the way back to the Heaven and Earth Temple after having kind of been traveling about most of the day. Is that basically correct?
Yes. I think I left the scene from last session in the woods with Song Tian and Nameless Blade, and have been sort of making my way back to the temple ever since.
Of course. Nameless Blade has gone off and donned her straw hat and is in the war camp with Mo Feng and Violet Widow. Song Tian, last we saw, was having a very cold bath with Jiang. And I think as you walk, Sister Serpent is going to meet you on the road, just outside of the Heaven and Earth Temple. There you are, she says.
Sister Serpent, I haven't seen you in too long. Where have you been?
Well, Master Woodheart, he always has errands to be run, but he actually instructed me to come and see you. He said that I should be, well, if not a bodyguard, then at least someone who travels with you for a time.
I always will accept your protection, Sister Serpent.
She smiles somewhat bashfully, and the two of you walk in silence for a moment before she says, "So, I understand that you were tasked with slaying Song Tian."
Yes, Master Woodheart instructed me to do that.
How did it go?
I couldn't do it. Nameless Blade came to me and convinced me not to do it.
Nameless Blade? I didn't know that you listened to her.
I normally don't, but she was very convincing.
Well, why didn't you?
It just didn't feel right. I didn't feel in connection to my abilities as an assassin. I don't believe assassination is my role, Sister Serpent. I don't think that's my karma, despite our history.
But you you're a student of Elder Woodheart. Your karma is to follow his instructions, is it not?
And maybe my karma is also to reject his instruction.
Then if I may be blunt about it, Cloud Crow, do you think that we are meant to be together? You and I?
Come with me away from here, Sister Serpent. Come with me away from this temple. This temple is up to no good.
But Elder Woodheart?
I don't understand. I don't understand his instructions. They don't feel right. Something is wrong.
Well,
Do you believe me? Do you believe me, Sister Serpent? Do you trust me? Have we not loved one another in this lifetime?
Oh boy, are you thank you for pointing that out in the chat. Jiang, are you hearts and mindsing her? I mean, this is you basically saying, look, just abandon all of that and come with me. I mean, is that a hearts and minds move here?
I guess it is, yes.
Let's do that. I mean,
I've never done that one.
This feels like it's almost bordering up against inner conflict, but I'm not sure. I think hearts and minds definitely applies. So what element would you like to roll with?
Okay, I'm gonna roll with, let's see. I'm gonna roll with water. Is that all right?
Sure. Yep, that's your +2.
Yeah. So let's see. Crow is adding +2. Rolling 2 6s. And the name of this roll is so I rolled a 6.
Do you want to keep that 6 or will you spend your final bond?
My final bond to get a 7. Well, let's see. A 6 is a miss, right?
A 6 would be a miss, yes.
And the 7 is then. Okay. Wait, so what happens on a miss?
On a miss, the MC gets to make a move. And so there isn't really a predefined like, oh, this is going to happen on a miss. It basically just means that the MC gets to make a move. And as a general rule, it means that things get worse for you. Although the thing to keep in mind is that a miss doesn't mean that you fail. It just means that maybe it doesn't go the way you wanted it to.
Okay, I think I'm going to take the miss and keep my 1 bond.
Okay. So what you want to do here is go ahead and start by marking water.
Oh. Okay.
And I think that Sister Serpent is going to sort of look at you with this expression of betrayal, as if you have asked her to do something offensively against who she is. Like, how could you ever ask her to do such a thing? She says to you, you're betraying your own master? For what? For Nameless Blade?
No, Sister Serpent, for my own heart, my own knowing of what feels like the right thing to do.
I have to think on this. I think I don't know if you are who I thought you were. And you can see tears beginning to well in her eyes, but she looks away. She can't make eye contact. You get the one strand of hair over her eye.
Sister Serpent, please don't go.
I'm sorry. I don't know who you are. And she just starts running towards the Heaven and Earth Temple. Do you chase her?
No. No, I don't chase her. I realize that this will take time. I realize that I am heading toward a confrontation with my master, with my temple, and I need to just steady myself in preparation.
Dongshan, it's a beautiful, crisp autumn evening, and Sister Serpent is running down the path, sobbing into her hands.
Okay.
Do you interrupt her? She seems to be headed towards the temple.
I will actually just take note of her and head in the direction she came from. Thinking that, well, what could make her cry? I've been looking to contact Cloud Crow, so something connected to Cloud Crow is in that direction.
Well, then it wouldn't be long before you come upon Cloud Crow.
And Cloud Crow, what are you doing when I catch sight of you?
I'm sitting under a tree. Just with myself. No one's around. No crows. Just me. Meditating.
I'll approach and call out Cloud Crow.
Wu Dongshan.
What time is it now? It's.
I don't have a watch.
It would be kind of close to sunset at this point.
Okay. Good evening, Cloud Crow.
Good evening, Wu Dongshan. What brings you here?
Curiously enough, I was looking for you.
Well, it is me you have found.
I was visiting your master and hoping to visit with you as well, but I had not received any word about it and thought to take a walk tonight, enjoy the fine scenery here, and here you are.
And here I am. What would you like to speak about?
So why have you not returned to the temple?
I'm taking my time.
That's interesting because it seems like your master was very interested in meeting with you.
Yes, I'm aware.
Is there anything that I might be able to help with?
What is your interest here, Wu Dongshan?
I'm simply concerned for your welfare.
Is that right?
My master has taken note of you as an outstanding student of the Heaven and Earth Temple.
Well, thank you. You may thank your master for me.
I will, and we stand ready to help you if there's any way that we can lend assistance.
Is that right? And what is your allegiance, Wudongshan?
To my master in Blackwood Palace.
And what is your relationship with the Heaven and Earth Temple?
We joined the alliance that they lead and serve to keep peace in the Jianghu.
And what do you know, Wudongshan, about the ripples between heaven and earth happening right now?
I'm afraid I can't say that I know much, but my master is a learned astrologer and has seen some strange weavings of fate in the skies.
Is that the moment when, just to kind of cut back to Nameless Blade, is that the moment when your fireworks go
Yeah,
off?
that seems fair.
So right as we say, what was it? Something in the skies?
Yes, seen strange portents in the skies. I can't remember exactly the phrasing. Strange twistings of fate. Yes.
I'm gonna do a lot of kind of rapidly cutting back and forth now because I think our timelines are starting to merge together. I want to go to Jiang really quickly because it's been a moment since we had you and Song Tian. Are you guys making your way for the secret entrance into the temple at this point?
Yeah, I can. I imagine that. So the temple is, I see it, on a rise or a hill in this pine forest, and it has that big circular base, right? And I imagine it has a front entrance, right? But the place marked on the map is somewhere in the back, where you wouldn't imagine an entrance. And I think they're searching for the mark on the map, and maybe they find a cave or an opening with a grate or something like that, or I don't know what.
No, I quite like that. Yeah, no, I think that there might be sort of a cave that is cleverly concealed, and you enter and it kind of goes back and forth, weaving downward into a tunnel, but it basically serves as a subterranean escape for the Heaven and Earth Temple, or perhaps a secret entrance if you were just going the other direction. Now, I keep forgetting, did you mention that there was anything else on that secret note that was planted in your
I said
pact?
there was some kind of magical sigil on that, as if it were, and it's something. When Jiang looks at it, it looks like a sigil that would open something. So maybe he comes to a barrier of some sort, either maybe a grate, a portcullis or something, or maybe it's a magical barrier that they bump up against, and then yeah, and then I can see Jiang making the sigil in the air in front of the, let's call it a portcullis, and it kind of rises slowly up, and they creep through. But remember, something bad's going to happen.
Yeah, I think
maybe
simply
you could do
put
that
is that
now. I don't know.
it's going to slam shut behind you. I mean, I think that's
Okay.
the reduced effect is you now have no easy
No
way
escape
out.
route.
At least, yeah, you might have an overcome roll later if you try to go out this way to see if you can punch the portcullis clean off its hinges or something like that. But as it stands, you're basically locked in.
Jiang just looks at Song Tian as like, I guess we're committed now. We'll have to find another way out of the temple.
This late in the evening, most of the monks are likely to be here. I don't think you can get a tighter guard than right now. You'll have to be very careful.
All right.
And I think that's when you hear fireworks in the distance. And so then we go to Nameless Blade. Where are you in the conversation when the fireworks go off?
I mean, I think it's probably that like I do not think this is a disguise, so it actually fools someone who has encountered me before, much less killed me the one time. I think that like Violet is about to like looks at me and is about to say something suspicious, and then like we see the fireworks start to fire off.
There's a collective what the hell from all the troops. They were not expecting fireworks over the Heaven and Earth Temple. I think I mean anyone, I think no one's in the Heaven and Earth Temple at this point other than Jiang, kind of. But I think if you cut to
Isn't Blade still at the war camp?
yes. But I think you have numerous monks in the Heaven and Earth Temple going, "What the hell?" And
okay, so they're seeing it from a distance.
Yes, I think that they're rushing to the balconies and windows and looking at the fireworks going off in the forest over the temple itself and asking, "Why is there's what? There's no celebration here. Well, this is the middle of the forest. Why is this?" That kind of thing. So we cut back to Nameless Blade. Violet Widow has given you a look, but is unable to say anything because now fireworks are going off. And what do you do?
I think I try to I'm trying to sort of disappear into the chaos and get to Violet's like tent. Was my plan.
All right. So if we're trying to get away from Violet Widow and disappear into the crowds, I think that might be an overcome roll.
Yeah, that makes sense here. Let's see. What am I rolling with? Let me go over to my character. Let's see here. I think this is probably control. This is probably metal. It seems like this is all a very overly complicated plan to sneak into someone's tent.
Okay.
This is just a recurring thing. If there's a plan to be had, it involves setting things on fire. That's an 11.
You succeed without complication. You're able to get away and make your way into Violet Widow's tent.
Yeah, and as Nameless Blade comes in, like I like pull off the straw hat, fling it onto to her bed, and begin to search through her her whatever like personal documents might be here.
Let's have you make a study move.
Oh, okay. Let's see here. I think I am rolling with patient. I guess probably water. Water makes sense here for awareness. And that's a 7.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I get basic information.
Basic information. You'll find that she has been hired by Mo Feng. She is not in any way personally obligated to him. You'll find that she has been paid vast sums of money. She has fine, luxurious silks and other trade goods that are going to be worth a fortune when all this is said and done. But she is not connected to him in the sense that they are personally friends or anything along those lines. She has her own motives.
Yeah, and I'm gonna ask, where's this secret relative of yours hidden?
Sure. So you would like me to provide that? Because you could decide yourself if you wanted to introduce a detail.
Oh, well, I guess like I have two thoughts here. I'm torn between like declaring Crow or Zhang her descendant. Like I feel both make sense here.
The only thing that I'm kind of worried about with that is if we have to eliminate
I mean,
our connection with them, how does that work with the PC?
look, I see it as a way of getting XP. Like, I don't think I'm actually going to kill Zhang. That's exactly what makes this or maybe I have to just kill them like temporarily, you know.
That's when you
Like,
go
you're
down
the
into the
master
nether
of
realm and
poisons,
bring him back.
Dongshan. You're the master of poisons. You can stop his heart for a few minutes.
Yes. That sort of thing happens.
Yeah, I think that's the plan. I think yeah, I'm gonna say that it's Zhang just to pull him into this terrible plan.
I just want to
And now
make
it
sure.
makes your fascination with her all the more, like, it explains it.
So now not only are you cursed, but we have to poison you near to death.
Exactly. I mean, is it one because of the other though? I think that's the case here.
It could be, and what'll happen when he reaches that death-like state.
Exactly.
So how do you find this out? Is there a poem that she wrote about her beloved son, Jiang, that you find tucked away somewhere?
Well, I think we know, Jog, you know your mom. I think we had established. So I think it is that I think like I like the idea that she has like a painting of like a woman with her baby, and I think like the baby has like some birthmark that I recognize as Zhang's or something. Like maybe this is her daughter with Zhang.
And it's at this point that I think you hear Mo Feng roaring over the commotion. Now's the time. They're distracted. Mount your horses. Let's ride.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I there's a lantern in here, right? Or something like that.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I grab it and throw it down onto the bed and then get out. I take the painting though.
Excellent. So a painting and a severed head. These are the things that Nameless Blade carries with them.
Look,
That's your everyday carry.
I'm gonna find a use for it eventually. Nobody like complained when Perseus did it, but I mean that was because they were all turned to stone.
Well, just Experience Chow said that it was useful against undead, didn't they?
Yeah, fair.
Just there will be some of those at some point, I'm sure. And so let us cut back to Cloud Crow and Dongshan. You were just making mention of portents in the sky.
Yes.
Dongshan, will you join me in the fight against this evil?
What
Even if
evil do you refer to?
this evil separation between heaven and earth? The rift between the gods and the earth. All of this evil that's happening around us. Will you join me against that, even if it means our temples don't agree?
You think the Heaven and Earth Temple is causing this?
I do not know. But we must not eliminate that possibility.
Well, like I said, we stand ready to help you, so I will do anything I can.
Thank you, Dongshan. I feel you will be needed very soon. Don't go far.
What are your plans now?
I must go speak with my master.
Well, let us walk back to the temple then.
Great.
And so let us go to Jiang, I think. I think that you have ascended a very narrow single file width stairwell that is carved directly into the stony, rocky foundation upon which the temple rests. And you're ascending up, 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 up into the temple proper. I think that the way we might want to handle the question of, do you get to the bronze vessel proper, it's really just going to boil down to, I think, an overcome roll. Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
Let's get an overcome roll and see if you are able to make it to the bronze vessel.
Let's see what what element would that be? Boom, 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 boom. Why don't we do Earth caution? See if we can cautiously, stealthily make our way up towards the top. We're thinking that it must be towards the top. And find the vessel. Let's see what happens. Ooh, that's a 6.
You have a curse clock and bonds to spend.
Yeah, I can imagine that at one point they are almost caught by some monks running by to go see the fireworks. And Jiang does that thing that he knows that he shouldn't do, but he just pushes fate just a little bit to make sure that he's not seen. And that ticks his clock. One more. 2 out of 4. And that would bring me to a 7.
Okay. So I think that you will successfully make it to the bronze vessel. As you might expect, it is being held in the very top of the temple. I think that there is a almost sort of sacred room that they keep on the topmost level. It is a circular chamber with windows on all sides and a great sliding door that opens out onto a balcony that overlooks the entirety of the forest. You can even perhaps see just a bit of the field where the war camp used to be. And maybe even in the distance on a very clear day, you might even be able to see a bit of the lake that the town of Ardent Maple borders. You have this great panoramic view of the surrounding countryside. And there, upon what seems to be an altar, is the bronze vessel itself. Do you take it, or does Song Tian get the honors?
I'll let Sung Tian take the honors. It was his idea to come here. And I'll keep a watch out for anyone coming up the stairs behind us. And I will, because I got a 7. I think there's going to be a complication.
Oh, yes, yes. What happens is Song Tian goes to the vessel. He looks to you and says, all right, let's finish this. And he takes it in one hand and opens it and peers inside. His face goes pale and he drops the lid and staggers back, clasping his hands over his face. He has seen something within that vessel. But before you're able to ask, what is it? You hear, what are you doing here? Stop! And before you, you see several monks of the Heaven and Earth Temple, quarter staves drawn. They've caught up with you.
Hope he didn't get poisoned. So they've come up into the room.
Yes.
And so Jiang is going to respond to their presence immediately because they could sound the alarm if he doesn't incapacitate them quickly. So he moves towards them to try to slip into their defense and disarm, render them unconscious, anything he can do. So I guess, are they troops? Are they?
This would be deal with troops, but let's not roll it just yet. I want to cut to Cloud, Crow, and Dongshan just very quickly. You have entered, once again, the chambers of Elder Woodheart. Elder Woodheart looks at you rather crossly, Cloud Crow. You've returned and brought Dongshan with you. What is your report? Where is Song Tian, Cloud Crow?
If my crows speak the truth, Song Tian is in the temple.
What?
I look over in surprise as well.
This is what my crows have reported. Song Tian and Zhou Zhang are here in the temple right now.
And you did not dispatch Song Tian yesterday?
No, Master, I did not. Something inside me spoke. Something inside me spoke. And I feel that something is amiss, Master. And I don't know whether you know it or you don't know it. But something in the things you've been telling me to do is not in service of reuniting the world, the worlds. And at that point, we start to hear crows. Crows are flying all around the temple. They are flying up and down the spire, the sky. If you're inside the temple and you look out, all you see is black because the crows are so thick. They're with me. I may have alienated most of the characters in my life, but not the crows.
Are you attempting a hearts and minds here?
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm beautiful and stupid, remember?
In so many words, you're basically saying, look, I deliberately disobeyed your orders, but are you trying to get him to understand your point of view?
Yes, I'll give him that chance. Yes, I will try to roll hearts and minds. But okay, wait a second. I have this move that I haven't used, and it's let's see. It's called Eternal Love. When you remember a past life connection to someone, describe it and take +1 forward in dealing with them. When you reveal that connection to them, roll. On a hit, you halt their current action, clear an element, make them answer a question, or drive them off. So could I roll that?
You can certainly roll that here, because unless you're able to pull him to your point of view in at least some sense, he will certainly take an action here that you might want to halt.
Mm-hmm.
So what
Okay.
is the nature of your connection to him, at least in the past life?
As the crows fly around the temple, Cloud Crow looks up at nothing, and a vision comes to Cloud Crow, and they see themselves and another young being swimming in a lake together. They're maybe 20, and they're in love. They're swimming in the lake. They're holding hands. They're laughing. They're so happy. And Cloud Crow realizes it's Woodheart. Unmistakably, Woodheart and Cloud Crow together. Completely different roles. And Cloud Crow brings their eyes back down, looks directly at Master Woodheart, who they don't usually look directly in the Master's eyes. And they say, Woodheart, it's me. Do you remember? You remember the lake? You remember swimming together, laughing, the love we shared? Do you remember? It's me.
Let's roll that move.
Oh my God. Okay, so do I roll with my own element or another element?
Choose one of your unmarked elements. You have earth, fire, and wood remaining.
I'm going to roll with wood then. Curiosity
Okay.
and growth. Let's see. Oh, it's a 4.
That might is that our first snake eyes roll of the quarterly? I don't remember.
It could be.
Oh,
I think we've had a 3, but we haven't had a 2 yet.
oh dear.
This is gonna be good.
So what does that mean?
On a miss, your past life story connection ended tragically, and you turned them against you fully.
So you started out lovers, but things went terribly wrong.
Oh.
How did it end tragically? Do you know? We can always circle back if you want a moment to think.
A storm came. A storm came. We were swimming in the lake, and the wind whipped up, and the water became just evil. Riptides pulling us down, and Woodheart drowned, and I couldn't save them. And I was bereft for the rest of that life.
So we cut back to. I actually think I want to go to Nameless Blade here before we disclose Woodheart's answer. Alternatively, we can take our final break. Is now a good time to take 5 people?
Yeah, I'd be good with that.
Okay, let's take 5, come back at 7 or 8 till the top of the hour, or 57, 58, and we'll get in our last hour then. Okay, folks, we're keeping the camera on Cloud Crow, Dongshan, and Elder Woodheart. We just got a snake eyes on the Eternal Love move, and I think that Elder Woodheart is going to furrow his brows, and you see him just kind of clench his fist, and the prayer beads that he always carry snap, and they scatter and roll across the floor. You try to toy with my emotions after deliberately disobeying my instructions for the second time, Cloud Crow. Get out of my sight, he tells you. You are no student of mine. And if you would like to roll inner conflict here, I think you may. But I'll leave it to you. I will also say I would like you to mark an element for that snake eyes, but I'll leave it your choice.
Another element.
That'll put you out to 3.
Okay. I think I'm going to mark Earth. Actually, no, I think I should mark Fire for being reckless.
That makes good sense.
Yeah. Okay.
So what would you like to do at this time? You can, if you think it's appropriate, you can take the risk and roll some inner conflict. Alternatively, if you know your path, then go ahead.
I think I do know my path, and I think my path is to reject Elder Woodheart. And I was hoping that he would come to see that the path that he was on was in error. And it seems that that is not the case. He is not open to learning that information. And so I will not roll inner conflict. I know what I must do. And so I think at that point, there's a knock on the door. And it's not a human knock. It's actually crows. The crows have entered the building. They've entered the temple. They've entered through the windows. They've entered through the doors. They've found their way through the secret entrance in the earth. They're everywhere. And they've come and are trying to get in through the door of the temple. And then they also start flying in through the windows at in filling this room. They haven't attacked anyone yet, but they are filling the room. And the noise is a cacophony of crows. And I think I would like Nameless Blade to make herself known at this point. And so how do we do that?
I mean, what exactly are you accomplishing with this swarm of crows?
They haven't attacked anyone yet, so is it
I'm
just
not
kind of
attacked anyone yet.
showing off your power to intimidate?
Well, you know, I have no human allies at this point. I have Wu Dongshan, maybe. I'm not sure. Yeah, shock and awe, that might be it. It is to show my power. It is to show that I do have allies, despite how everyone thinks I'm so stupid. I'm not alone. And so yeah, at this point, I think I need to yell because no one can hear me above the crows. And so I sort of yell something like, "Your wisdom is mistaken, Elder Woodheart. You're misinformed. I will no longer be following you." Kind of like, don't fire me, I quit.
Yeah, I think I will have Nameless Blade show up, and I think I'm assuming that these folks are planning on attacking the temple, but I think I show up amidst the swarm of crows, trailing now with like the paint the scroll like bound up hanging off of my back as well. And I think I take Cloud Crow's hand and I say, I at least will stand by your side, Cloud Crow, but we cannot stay here. there are war comes to this temple. And I want to comfort and support you right now. If that's okay.
Sure. Yeah, let's make that happen.
And I was gonna say, is Cloud Crow trying to impress folks here? Feels like if we're not like resorting to duel, that might be the thing here.
You could justify an impress roll with the Crow performance. I think that is accurate too. So if you'd like, you can make that roll too, Crow.
Yeah, let's see. I think that I am rolling with yeah, I think I'm rolling with Earth here. Presence. I think the solidity. I think maybe that's kind of it. And that is an 8. So Cloud Crow, you can give me you can unmark one of your elements or give me a bond on you.
I think I will unmark water.
Cool.
Perhaps that will make me more aware and wise and flexible.
Crow, do you want to roll impress?
Yes, I would.
Okay. Which element will you roll with?
I'm going to roll with water.
Okay.
Oh, my rolling is not great. A 6.
You may spend a bond or alternatively keep the miss.
I think I will spend my last remaining bond on Cloud Crow.
Oh.
That oh man, I think yeah, I think that I think maybe it is like that I am holding your hand as you channel this power, and that like helps like focus your control and your power.
Cloud Crow, you may select from a list. You may pick the same option twice. You get two choices here. You may create a bond with someone watching, and that includes Nameless Blade, Elder Woodheart, and Dongshan. You may clear a marked element or gain a favor from an observer.
I think, well, what's the difference between gaining a favor and having a bond?
Bond is mechanical, favor is really more story.
Okay, so I think that I might like to gain a favor with Dongshan, because I don't entirely trust their allegiance to me, and I want to make more certain of it. What? Why are you shaking your head, Zhou Zhang? And so
I've been sort of preparing myself to take a hit for you at some point in all of this.
you are. So you're saying
So,
that are you saying that I'm not wise to try to gain a favor from you at this point?
Oh no. I'm saying that could be the favor that you get is
I see.
I will leap in and interpose myself if Elder Woodheart were to attack you.
Okay, you'd protect me?
Yes.
Okay, I'll accept that. Dongshan, I may need your protection now. Things are getting out of control.
Yes, I can see that.
3 things are going to happen simultaneously. 1, you are going to hear Who are you? What are you doing there? Stop! From above. That is Jiang. You are going to hear from outside the roar, rather, of Mo Feng. He calls, "Heaven and Earth Temple. I have come to take back what is mine. Turn over the bronze vessel." And as you look out the windows, you see that the war band has all but surrounded the temple. They're posed with crossbows and are about to unleash a volley straight through into, well, if not every room in the temple, a lot of them. And this could potentially hurt many young monks. 3, we have a complication that arises from the impress roll. All of these crows, well, they've pretty much given away your position. People know where you are, Cloud Crow. And Sister Serpent is going to appear in the doorway. She holds a spear in her hand. And she says to you, Cloud Crow, "I will not allow you to besmirch his honor. Draw your weapon." So we'll start one after the other. Dongshan, I'm gonna go Dongshan, Blade, Crow, and then we will get to do the deal with troops move from Jiang. So Dongshan, what do you do here?
So what is Elder Woodheart doing?
Great question. I think he's leveled his eyes at you. You told him earlier that you would help. Now's your chance. And if you'd like to enter conflict about that, you can.
No, I don't think so. I think I'm up for a little bit of defying him in favor of Cloud Crow. I think Heaven and Earth Temple are full of themselves, so. But if I see Sister Serpent leaping for Cloud Crow, then I will interpose myself and duel with her to keep her off.
Cloud Crow. Because this is someone who is challenging you, I think she's going to, well, actually, she doesn't charge toward you. She just said, "Draw your weapon." So do you just step in front and say, no, you and me? Or how do you do it, Dongshan?
I attack.
Oh, you just straight up attack her. Very well.
Yes.
Let's cut to Nameless Blade, because you're right there, and I said you would be kind of next in order. What do you do?
I mean, I think that I'm torn here. I want to say, like, I think that, yeah, I do feel like Cloud Crow needs to do this. So I think that I draw my blade and point it at Dongshan and say, "Dongshan, you cannot become between the two of them. This is something that Cloud Crow needs to do. You can't protect her from our destiny. I'm trying to hearts and minds you into
I
like
was just gonna ask.
Yeah.
I think I want a hearts and minds roll on that. So,
yeah.
Yeah, let's make that happen.
Oh, what am I doing here? I think that oh man, what am I even rolling with here? I guess water. Water makes sense. This might be interpreted as wisdom. And that's a 5.
Oh,
Dongshan.
So yeah. David, what interpret this? What are we doing here?
Right. So
I reply with, "Why should I listen to you on these matters?" and continue the attack.
I mean, I think if we're all throwing ourselves between each other, then I throw my I strike at you with my blade.
are we at a PC versus PC duel?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
The challenger in this case is going to be Nameless Blade, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
So think for a moment. I want to cut to Jiang, but while we're doing that, think about what you would like to offer. Jiang, are you ready for your deal with troops move?
Sure. Yes. So I think I rolled out with my style element. Is that
That is
correct?
with your
Yeah.
style element, yes.
Hmm. Oh, that's a 12.
You defeat them easily. Describe how you do so.
So I think there were 3 of them, I think you said. And I think they got distracted when Mo Feng began his his outburst from the outside. But Zhang didn't let himself get distracted, slipped in under their guard, and I imagine he's not using his weapons. He's using pressure points. So it's like I can imagine him like boom, 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 and taking them all out with pressure points while their mouths are gaping open, looking at all the crossbows pointed against the temple, and they all kind of drop like rag dolls into a heap, and Jiang thinks that from the way the windows are, they won't get you know poked by arrows coming in because they're on the floor. And then he runs back to Song Tian to try to find out what he saw or what if he's okay. And he runs over and he says, "Song Tian, are you well? What did you see?"
The opera mask, he says, shaking.
That bad?
They've trapped him inside it. They've trapped him inside of it.
Someone really bad, right?
My father.
Your father? Your father made you go pale white? You don't seem well, Song Tian.
Jiang, we have to take the mask and go. And I think that's when you hear all of the other PCs downstairs.
I imagine we can't get out the way we came because we would have to pass by them all, unless we jump out the window.
You would have to jump out the window, or scale the walls downward. Yes, but the question basically becomes: do you follow what Song Tian is saying, get the mask and get the hell out of here, or do you go attend to every other cast member downstairs? And if you want to interconflict about that, you can interconflict about that.
Yeah, because I think maybe I've overheard some of it since we're in the room just above. I think at some point in the past moments, I overheard the yelling, and I think I am feeling inner conflict. Do I help Tian, or do I go to my other friends? I think I
Sure.
have to roll inner conflict.
Let's have you mark XP and roll with a non-style element.
All right, let me just look at my elements for a second. I'm torn between these two things. Let's see the red ones. I think I'm scared. I think I'll roll with metal, so that's a 0.
Okay.
And where's my roller? All right. 0. All right, here we go. Considering. Ooh, that's a 5.
Do you want to keep that at a miss, or will you spend 2 of curse clock or bonds to bump that to a 7?
Let me see. What happens if I take a miss on inner conflict?
You get more XP.
I get more XP,
but things
and
get
the
much
GM
worse.
makes things much worse.
Yes.
And on a 7 and 9, you must either flee the scene or mark an element to keep yourself steady. All right, I am going to. And if I get a miss completely, I don't necessarily flee the scene, right? It's just something really bad.
Things,
happens.
I just get to play a very hard move.
Very bad thing to me. Things are already pretty bad. I think I'm going to use the bond I have with Song Tian. I'll spend that, and then I'll push my clock one more time.
You're at 3 out of 4 on that clock.
Out of 4 out of clock. Speaking of bad things about to happen.
You hold steady, but you must
mark an
either
element?
flee. You must flee the scene or mark an element. Yes,
All right, I guess I'd mark the. Do I mark the element that I used?
your choice.
I'll go ahead and mark the element that I used. I don't want to flee this. I couldn't flee the scene and go downstairs, could I? That's not the same thing, right? I have to flee completely.
Fleeing the scene would basically mean fleeing without Song Tian, just leaving him there.
Right. All right, I'm going to mark metal.
Okay.
And Song Tian, the only way out is down. And I will distract my friends, and you can slip out with the mask. Seems like there's quite a brouhaha downstairs. Quite a tumult downstairs might be a better word. A tumult downstairs.
He looks at you with tear-stricken eyes. He looks really hot right now. Mm-hmm. And he just says, "Be safe." And you take off.
All right.
Nameless Blade, what is your offer for this PC versus PC duel?
Okay, so I'm gonna offer up the 1 XP that I haven't spent. I'm also gonna offer, I've been kind of thinking through this, something like how after the duel, I need to change my entanglement to something like I must leave Cloud Crow in Wu Dongshan's hands because our destiny is only to hurt each other.
I'll take it.
Oh yeah, okay. So you get the XP I'm giving you, and then you also mark 1 for taking this loss. And I'm wondering, Cloud Crow, as I think this is so how is Wudong so is Wudongshan actually, is Wudongshan expecting this me to actually go through with my threat?
Which threat exactly?
When I drew my blade to tell you to not attack Sister Serpent.
Oh yeah, anytime anyone draws their blade, I'm fully prepared for them to use it. So.
Cool. Okay. So I'm curious, like, as I come into attack, like, how are you like defending yourself?
And remind me what your combat style looks like.
Mine is sort of it's very like it's very much the sort of like Wuxia thing of like a battle occurring within the mind, and then like striking like at the moment that like all like basically making the perfect strike at that one moment.
Right. Okay. I think we just get into a sword duel with your ability to evade my blows and strike at seemingly safe positions, but all of a sudden you're there and striking, and I just able to ward you off. But
yeah, and I think
eventually you I don't know if you wound me or just manage to drive me back far enough.
No, I think I wound you. I think this is straight up one of the reasons why this entanglement is changing. Like, I think I like stab. I like give a like probably it's not gonna be lethal because of Wulin, but I think like I stab you into you with the sword. Like I stab between.
Right,
like,
you get the decisive blow in, and I spit up blood, and
yes. And I assume that Crow probably has some probably will have feelings about this, but I assume Crow's also dealing with Sister Serpent, who no longer has anything between the two of them.
Yeah, I mean, you just wounded, Nameless Blade just wounded my protector.
And I'm totally willing to mark wounded at this point too. So.
I think that makes sense in the fiction if you're open to it, Dongshan. Cloud Crow, is there any, shall we say, feelings? Or perhaps even feelings that rise to the level of inner conflict around this?
Yes, I mean, once again, Nameless Blade has come between me and someone. And in this case, it was coming between me and someone who was had said they would protect me. And Nameless Blade also was going to protect me. So I'm really confused. And I'm having inner conflict because I'm really angry at Blade right now.
Let's go ahead and mark XP and select a non-style element to roll with.
All right, let's see, what do I have to roll with? Can I roll with water? Like, does that make sense?
You sure can.
Okay. All right. I will roll with water. Oh, okay. A 12.
All right. You hold steady. Remember to mark XP if you have not already. And what do you do?
The crows had started to part when they started to fight. And now the crows actually leave the room. They completely leave the room. And my own wings start to rise. And as my own wings rise, my body rises. And my feet become talons. And with my talons, I wrestle the blade away from Blade. Blade no longer has a blade. And I throw the blade out the window.
Blade, are you okay with that?
Yeah, I think I am. Yeah, I am. I'd say like, I am sorry, Cloud Crow, for this, but you know that this was a fight that you cannot allow Dongshan to fight for you. And I point over at Sister Serpent. That is that is
I mean, I
for
would have
you
shown
to
her no
resolve
mercy.
yourself.
So,
Yeah.
I will fight her.
Mm-hmm.
I will protect myself.
Do you say anything to? Is that what you say to me, or?
Yes. I will fight this battle on my own blade. That's what this is all about.
It is.
I can handle this.
And I'm gonna roll some inner conflict myself, because I know I instigated all this. It doesn't mean I can't have complicated emotions because of it. Let's see here. Let's roll some inner conflict. I think I'm gonna roll with yeah, I'm gonna roll with with water. That seems most fair here. And that's a 7. And I do think that, like, I look down at Dongshan and I whisper to you, I apologize for this. It's the way that it had to be. And I think that that's when I like leave. I don't stay to watch this fight. If that's cool with folks.
yep. I'm powerless to stop you going.
Yeah.
So you're kind of stepping downstairs basically to just leave the temple.
Basically, yeah. I mean, I don't have my sword anymore, so.
Sure. Jiang, I want to cut to you. I think that you will make it downstairs, and before you, room full of crows, Elder Woodheart stands off to one side, watching but unacting. Cloud Crow's got talons for feet. Sister Serpent's got the spear leveled, pointed at Cloud Crow. You thought they were a thing, but who? Okay. And Dongshan wounded. You also see something on the window. Mo Feng's soldiers have loosed a volley of arrows and bolts soaring toward your window. And it appears that Mo Feng has practiced some Qigong of his own, for he is running along air behind this volley. It appears that the volley is about to pierce into the room, and Mo Feng will enter behind it after it has wiped out whatever extras still remain. He carries with him a Dao sword, which, per my research, is basically equivalent of a falchion. What do you want to do here, Jiang?
Okay, before I narrate this, I just want to. My inner conflict that I did just before would have triggered this other move that the hero sheds no tears. So I just I took +1 against Song Tian in the future. it talks about witnesses. Does that mean someone who's actually present and witnessing me in inner conflict? It wouldn't involve these people downstairs.
I think so, yes. It would be a witness to the inner conflict,
Okay,
which
there's
really
no
just...
other witnesses there, unless you count his father trapped in the mask.
Which, by the way, at some point, we might need to just table this for next time, but I think that when you got to the room with the opera mask in it, I think that would trigger your Eerie Moon Evil Star move. I don't think we need to resolve that right now, but I want to put a pin in that because I think that definitely triggers that move.
Got it. All right. Then I guess I'll just take +1 on Song Tian and leave it at that because there were no other witnesses except for the mask. All right.
Yeah. I think that the mask did witness that. So you can go ahead and take +1 on Song Tian's father. Yes, you can do that.
On Daddy Song. Okay. And then now I'm seeing the volley of arrows. Monks fall dead. Mo Feng is entering. I think.
Well, the monks won't fall dead if you intervene.
Oh, I could intervene.
You could. I mean, you could do the thing from Hero where you just get out there on the balcony and just like start swinging away all the arrows. You could do that. The difficulty there is that would definitely be an overcome move, and it might leave you open to Mo Feng's strike. He would not be very happy about you interfering with his plans after all he's given you.
Okay. And I'm trying to do something showy to distract people from the fact that Song Tian is going to slip out, if possible, in the chaos. So yes, I think I'll go. He jumps onto up onto the parapet and he begins to attempt to block all the volley of arrows coming in with his van braces. He's just doing his circular ballet. As best he can.
All right, let's have you roll overcome.
All right. Overcome. And I need an element. Well, I think this is should be my combat element, so I'll use water. And what did I do with this? It's a 9.
Do you want to keep that at a 9, or do you want to bump it to a 10?
Let me just take a quick look at the overcome roll. I will. How can I bump it to a 10? Well, it's either my clock, which that would be unfortunate, or maybe lovely, or I have a +1 forward against Mo Feng. Could I use that?
I think you definitely could here. Yes.
Okay, I'll use that then. So I'll remove that. And because it was his doing that the arrows were coming. All right. So that puts me at a 10.
All right.
So it looks really good. I don't miss any of them. But
so
I've left myself open to Mo Feng.
I would say that you would definitely have gotten hit by him had you kept that at a 9.
Okay.
As it stands, though, you are able to deflect the arrows, and Mo Feng sees you do it, obviously.
Yes.
Jiang, he yells and raises his sword. If you don't back down now, he will duel you, and you spy the killing intent in his eyes.
Oh my. And the killing intent is, I don't know. I know his intent is to recover the artifact, right?
Yes.
I think this isn't inner conflict. No, this is just. I think he's going to stand firm against Mo Feng, and he might lose, possibly.
All right. We're coming in on the final set of rolls here, Dongshan. Here comes your brother-in-law. He looks like he's ready to attack Jiang. Do you have inner conflict about this?
Oh no, no. I don't think I can take any offensive action against Mo Feng right now, but maybe I can throw up a defensive barrier for Jiang.
You might be able to comfort and support on
Yeah.
the roll for the duel. Let's have you do that, or maybe we should. Well, yeah. Let's make the dual roll first. I think comfort and support. Well, you can kind of do it in either order. By the way, I read the move.
Yeah, I think the comfort and support first, just so that he could possibly use the bond created.
Sure.
And I will roll with fire. Because it's Mo Feng and I hate him so much. So. Oops. Ooh, a 5.
Are you going to modify that roll?
No, I will hang on to my bonds. Let's see if I have any. +1 with Jing Shui, but nothing with Mo Feng, so I think I will leave it as a miss, which just triggers a GM reaction.
Sure. I think the only reaction is that Mo Feng will certainly notice. He knows that you've just tried to best Violet Widow with your antidotes, and now he knows that you have tried to protect Jiang. There will probably be open enmity between the two of you.
Yeah, I think I'm able to throw up the barrier, but I don't have the strength to maintain it against.
That will probably
Mo Feng's surprisingly strong kung fu.
All right, let's roll a couple of duels, beginning with Sister Serpent and Cloud Crow. Cloud Crow, Sister Serpent is at your scale.
Well, hallelujah. Okay, well, should I roll first or describe
Wait till you see the roll before you. say
Well,
hello.
I'd like to see a little bit of kind of what your style looks like against Sister Serpent. For Sister Serpent's part, I think she is going to adopt a very wide stance. The spear over here coming across, and she makes these great whirling cyclonic strikes and takes up a great deal of space, just swatting and thrusting and slashing away as she tries basically to prevent you from being able to close in. And she is sobbing as she does this. This is the last thing she wants right now. But it seems there is no other way. What does your fighting style appear to be in this conflict?
Well, I think that my talons are still out. They have not retracted. My wings are still fully out. They have not retracted. And I also make myself big for a moment. And then as my wings come swooping down, my talons go straight in for the middle of her, straight to her body, and they push her out the door of the room, fully out the door. And she falls back. And there are stairs there, and she starts to fall down the stairs. can't recover her stance.
Or can she? Let's have the roll.
Oh, I feel so evil.
You're rolling with your style element. That's a +2.
Hallelujah. Okay. 10.
You win the conflict and may mark XP if you show mercy or let them escape. You may also declare a shift in the fiction, including but not limited to a change of heart, impressing someone, shifting in entanglements, that sort of thing. So you basically get to just narrate everything here. So let's start. Do you show mercy?
Yes, I show mercy. She falls down the stairs, and I don't actually know what happens to her because I have a lot of other things to pay attention to right now. I have Elder Woodheart is still in the room, and I'm still trying to essentially battle him. And Zhou Zhang is in the room now, with whom I have an unresolved issue. And I'm keenly interested in regaining the trust of Zhou Zhang. And so I show Sister Serpent mercy. I just wanted to get her out of the way. And I turn back to the room and I say, Zhou Zhang, my brother.
Zhang looks over his shoulder as he sees, but he's distracted
So
because Mo Feng is coming at him.
A bit busy right now.
Zhou Zhang, let us protect one another. I'm extending this relationship olive branch.
Help me against this maniac.
I was gonna say, I think that you're able to extend the olive branch. I don't know that you can interfere too directly in the fight right now unless we play out the duel and it makes sense in the fiction to do so. But I will say, if you'd like, you can make a comfort and support roll here.
Yes, I would love to do that. And do I do that with an element?
Your element of choice.
I am going to say water. $11.
Brilliant.
We're a team.
Yay.
So, Jiang, you may choose to give Cloud Crow a bond, or you may clear a marked element.
I don't think I have any marked. Oh no, I do have a marked element right now. I have metal marked. Or so those are my two options. And if I give him them a bond, they can use it to help me in the duel. They can spend it right away. Is that correct?
I
I forget.
believe that's correct.
Okay, I'll
you
give them
can
a
use that
bond.
for duels. Yes. Okay.
I'll give them a
So
bond.
mark a bond with Jiang, Cloud Crow. Cloud Crow, you may also clear an element yourself. Ask Jiang a question they must answer, or give Jiang a bond with you.
I will give Zhang a bond with me.
All right. Jiang. Mo Feng. Oh, I'll give you a second here.
Okay. Ready.
Mo Feng is going to come in. I mean, sword,
this way.
two hands aloft, ready to swing downward. And do
his initial reaction is just to try to block the first blow.
so I'll let you choose. Do we want the duel to just be that one decisive thing? Do you get him before he gets you? Or do you want to block his blow? You both tumble into the main room and we have a more extensive cinematic duel in there.
Yeah, maybe I'll block the first blow and then we tumble into the room with all
Mm.
the people. This is going to be this kind of climactic thing, and we're all there, or most of us. Nameless Blade, you left, right?
Nameless Blade is downstairs, and we're going to actually close with Nameless Blade here in a second, but
All
Jiang,
right. So now I roll the duel.
Mo Feng has his falchion essentially, and it is a broad, sweeping, incredibly reckless and aggressive style of combat as befits his personality. Would you like to describe your fighting style in this duel before you make your roll?
It's fluid, it's calculated, it's the opposite of Mo Feng. As Mo Feng attacks rapidly and violently, Zhou is just sidestepping and moving aside and redirecting, and he hasn't even drawn his daggers yet. But we'll see whether he draws his daggers depending upon how the roll
Sure.
goes. I'd like that. So yeah, it's a big contrast in styles, the two.
We're going to be rolling with
hard.
Yep. You'll be rolling with water. That's +2. And he is at your scale.
Oh, I thought he was going to be higher than my scale. Okay, well, that's good to know.
He's a businessman.
Oh, I did make a 7 at least.
Okay.
So
It's a hard press to get that up to a 10, but I think you might just be able to if you really want to.
let's see. I have I actually have a bond on him now that I think of it, and I have a bond on Cloud Crow that I could use. Let me see. What's the difference between those two?
Can I give you a bond?
Oh yes, you
Can I
could.
spend my bond on you?
Is that right?
Yeah.
If your scale is the same as your foe.
Yeah, Cloud Crow, it looks like you definitely, yeah, like you said, Dongshan, you can spend that bond Cloud with Zhang, Cloud Crow, to give him a +1.
Mhm.
So you could donate that.
Or I could win at a cost, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. The higher roll just lets you narrate more.
Uh-huh. Oh, and gives me XP. All right.
Well, it gives you an opportunity to get XP.
Yeah, if you show
If I
mercy.
show mercy and let him escape.
Yes.
All right. Wow, that's a lot. I think I'm going to go ahead and win at a cost. Well, let's go ahead and take the 10. We're in a climactic scene, so I will spend the bond I have on Mo Feng, and the bond I have with Cloud Crow. That's all my bonds.
Okay, and Cloud Crow will spend their bond with you.
Right.
That puts you to a 10.
All right. So at a 10, you win the conflict and may make our XP if you show mercy or let them escape. You may declare a shift in the fiction. Wow. How about this? So I win the conflict. And I imagine that is by drawing my daggers and at some moment disarming Mo Feng of his blade and having both daggers at his throat. And I will show him mercy by not killing him and forcing him to stand down.
You may mark XP for that.
Okay. Got it.
Is there anything you want to say, or shall we close that scene there?
No, I don't think there's anything I want to say except, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. He stands down, and I assume his men stand down. Can I force that?
That might be the shift in the fiction you declare.
Yeah. So yeah, he's got him at dagger point, and he says, "Stand down and have your men stand down, or we end this here."
Yeah, you can always take the hostage leader, and everyone will
Everyone will
stop
will-
fighting. And
yeah. All right, I'll do that. That sounds consistent with the genre.
So we've just got a couple minutes here. I want to actually have a quick little mini scene with Nameless Blade.
Sure.
If I might just kind of hard frame this.
Sure.
As you exit the temple, you hear Violet Widow say, "I think you dropped this."
Ah.
She extends your blade to you and is going to give it back freely.
I think. Yeah, I take it and say, I'm still sworn to kill you, but you have my thanks.
You burned my tent down, didn't you?
I shrug with my one good arm. I actually pull off the scroll and hand it over to her. I saved, well, what I assume you would not want to lose, though.
She kind of unfurls the scroll and looks at it. "A fair trade," she says. "Your dearest possession for mine."
And I just kind of look at her quizzically and say, "My dearest possession is not the blade." And I walk down the stairs.
You just kind of see this. I imagine it's sort of a shot of her in the foreground. You see her face, and then you're behind, back to the camera, walking down the stairs. And I think she just kind of smiles a little bit, but says nothing. Let's end the session there, folks. I will end the recording here, and we will meet again next time.